Alright, hey guys, welcome to another video. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the overall build quality and kind of my experience with this car. It's almost at 50,000 miles. It's still lower miles, but you know, it's getting up there. And I'm going to just talk to you guys about every little thing that I've just had a small issue with, and most, if not all, have been fixed under warranty. So it did happen kind of early on, and I haven't really had any problems since. So now it is time to start with kind of the walk around. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to mention to you guys, as you guys can kind of see right here, focus. Alright, well, regardless, this little nozzle, that's the sprayer for the rear wiper. I don't use this anymore. If I own this car for another year, I would do the wiper delete. I would seriously go to the trouble of doing the wiper delete, simply because this sprayer breaks so much. In fact, I think I went through 2 of these, and it's just a really bad problem. I'm thinking it's a heat-cold issue. I don't really think it's super advised to use the sprayer when it's cold, because it's, you know, I think they're all heated, and you know, it's just, there's a problem with it. The build, it's a little bit fishy, but the only problem I have at the back of this car, everything is all good. Walking in, the doors, I haven't had any issues aside from this kind of being a little loose. I wouldn't say loose, but when the bass is going, and I would say like halfway, this does a little bit of vibrating, just the window switches. The switches are solid, they're in there. It's just the housing around it. You can sort of hear a little bit of looseness. You can't do much about it. On a warm summer day, I don't think it's that bad, but when it's cold and the plastic is kind of brittle, it does rattle a little bit. So I guess it's just based on how much bass you use or how good you are with glue. Just something to keep in mind. I haven't had any issues with the electronic seat control, which is really nice. Obviously this is all manual, so I think I prefer the manual over the electronics because it's one less thing that'll pretty much break. Looking onto the seat, I do take care of my leather as best I can. I haven't cleaned this seat in, I would say, 2 months, which is a little bad. I try to do a little better than that. It's pretty good for under 50K, I'd say. This thing's at actually 46 and change now, so the leather's still very supple, no cracks. Something to keep in mind is when you do get in this car, be very mindful of where this bolster is, because before I knew this, I was kind of bumping this a lot, and you can sort of see a little extra wear. Try to focus in on it. You can see a little extra wear right here. There's not too much you can do about that aside from kind of rocking this a little back and then obviously adjusting it once you get in the car. Overall, the leather has held up really nicely. As you guys can see, really no cracking at all. You just have a little bit of imprints here just from general wear. You're gonna get that in any car. As much as you want to clean it, it'll always kind of just have the shiny wear to it. And believe me, I have cleaned these seats as best I can. So one thing also to keep in mind, and I see this not necessarily in this car because I've been pretty good about it, is when you do sit in this car, kind of go butt first and kind of swing your legs in, just because this does get nicked a lot, and you can kind of see sometimes I got a little bit lazy, a little bit of cracking kind of just right around here. Alright, so we'll get right into the car and we'll talk about the steering wheel. So the steering wheel, the overall quality of the steering wheel, pretty good, not too bad at all. I do hear that the leather was improved for the newer GTIs and Rs, I think 2018 and on. I might be wrong though, maybe 2019. And I might be wrong that that's totally, may not be a thing at all, but it's just something I heard. I don't think the leather's that bad, as long as you take care of it, you know, it does hold up pretty nicely. And mine certainly has not too big of flaws. It's just, depends how you take care of it. Please, for the love of God, do not use a magic eraser. If your steering wheel is really shiny, I mean, obviously it's a grease, it's dirt, but do not go to it with a magic eraser. Do a proper clean with a leather cleaner. Maybe use a steam cleaner. Go easy on it because this is very delicate pleather or leather, whatever you want to call it. On to the DSG shifter. One thing to note, this leather, or whatever this is, it feels like a pleather, like a plastic leather to me, kind of a bit of a rubber as well. It's cheap, you have to be super careful. One time I was a little bit aggressive with a cleaner. You can sort of see some imperfections right here. a little bit of, not cracking per se, but I mean, obviously it didn't like the way I was cleaning it, so just be careful. Try not to clean this. It's kind of crazy to say, but if you do, go easy, kind of maybe even just use a water and a light scrub, because this is very, very soft and it's easy to kind of remove. I guess the coating is what I removed, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same as a new one. One thing also I want to note to you guys, you see possibly a little bubble right here. That bubble is part of the worst idea that has ever been spawned for this vehicle. This trim is the worst trim ever. It is super nice to look at, I'm not gonna lie about that, but as you guys can see, it follows down here, and the dreaded finger gashing trim is right here. And over time, this trim will peel up. Mine is starting to peel up, but it's not at the phase where it's kind of, you don't see it, but back here, if you run your finger across, which you don't want to do, but you can feel it starting to kind of delaminate, it will cut your finger. At a certain point, this will start to kind of really chip up and it will cut your finger. And there are many pictures and horrendous sites on the forums about this cutting people's fingers. It's just a thing, and it's something you want to be super careful of. I don't hear too much about the trim here being an issue, which is surprising because this gets the most contact, but as you guys can kind of hear, you hear that kind of the metal flick. That's this trim hitting this. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that they went with this trim. It's kind of a sticker, if anything, as you guys can sort of see from the bubbling, but be very careful because it will bite. You guys can sort of see this slider. You have to be super careful when sliding it back and forth. Try not to even use it at all, which is really crazy to say, or at least oil the I guess the sliders, because I think it's my passenger side, my sliders over here broke right off. So one side, I think it was my driver's side, was the actual, was still on the rails. This side was not, and that caused issues. And I had to get that fixed, and surprisingly, they fixed it under warranty. Very, very brittle plastic. You have to be super careful. Try to grab it at a center point and then pull back very, very, don't pull it off to a side, just go back and forth really easy like that. Keep on your maintenance, make sure you kind of grease the joints, I guess you could say, or the rails, because it'll make living with this a little bit easier. Just because it's a sunroof and I like having it open, I do leave this open pretty much. I don't ever touch the slider. Also, I have a little bit of PTSD from this braking, so this light went out, and I'm pretty sure it went out from somebody kicking it. That's something you have to be super careful of. As you guys can sort of see, there's some brighter sections. I believe that's kind of just like a little crack in the, I guess the lens, maybe, for the light. Super, super delicate. So, and it's weird because this is like a place that people kick a lot. So, I don't know, try to take care of it. If you get a PPF or some kind of film to put over, that may help it or make the life of it a little longer, but just keep in mind, this went out on me. I know some people have the door ones go out, like this one and this one, but it hasn't happened to me yet. Hopefully never. It does look really nice when you open the door, especially if you have the mats in and they're clean, and it says GTI, because that's just so cool. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.